When 900 years old you reach, appreciate a health arrow applied to you. You would. Hello, Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. We're going to talk about which characters want health arrows. There's not a ton of them, but there are a few that have mechanics that really back them up. This isn't a discussion on which characters, could use like a plus 25. This is like which characters could use like a plus 11 speed health arrow and why it works for them. And this isn't a definitive list necessarily. We're going to talk about 5 of them. There's 5 other ones for you guys to consider as bonus, I suppose you might say. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about why you should refresh Ground War, because it is such a cool assault battle. And as of the time that this is releasing, you will have another 20-ish hours to actually refresh it. We're going to talk about that. I'll actually link my longer video, which is still only 12 minutes, and that talks more about and gives more reasons. But assault battle, guys, it goes hand in hand with these health arrows that we're going to be discussing. So just want to remind you guys, if you want to support the channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that thumbs up button or leave a like. I mean, that's the same thing, I guess. Or leave a like in the comments, or, hit the sub button. All of those things would really super help me. So without any more ado-ing, let's go to the game. Whoa, madness. It's Colonel Grievous. Wait, he's a general now? Yeah, General coughing. Anyways, General Grievous is probably the most obvious character to want a health arrow, guys. He really wants a health arrow because all of his damage is based off of health. So, all of them say Grievous's attacks deal damage based on his max health instead of his physical damage. So keep in mind, guys, there's one stat that he has that is completely worthless. This one right here, physical offense, I guess the special offense as well. He does it's all based on his max health, guys. And so some people will put like a crit damage triangle on there. I think it's pretty much of a wash to put a crit damage as opposed to health. We'd have to look at the math, but they're pretty similar. And the thing about it is, guys, he wants all that health. I mean, crit, if it's a wash, then you may as well get the extra health, right? The extra survivability. But okay, so it's kind of funny that I say he wants a health arrow, but then I have a speed, because here's the other aspect to it, guys. Now I have him countering Starkiller teams, which he needs to be really, really super fast for. And by really super fast, I mean like 260 something, but you need to be able to use him plus BB-8 to get well over the 400 speed threshold. And so sometimes you got to compromise and throw on a plus 32 speed arrow, apparently. But if you aren't countering Starkiller, if you don't need him to be super duper crazy fast, a health arrow is just what the doctor ordered. You'll note that my health is not super duper high because of that exact thing. I had to get a speed arrow on him. I do have health everywhere else. He wants as much health as he can get. He also wants as much potency as he can get, though that's neither here nor there. He wants all the health he can get because he does a lot of damage. And you'll note that I also got him to Relic 8 so that he could sustain that. It's a pretty endgame move to put a speed arrow on Grievous. But if you don't need a speed arrow on him, guys, if you're not countering something super fast, like I said, then a health arrow is exactly what he wants. Sith Eternal Emperor, all that old man ever wanted to do is stay alive. He's got his backpack, he's going to go on an adventure, it's going to be a fun time, but he's going to need lots of health along the way. And so everything about him, his only stat that he really cares about, he cares a little bit about speed, he cares a little bit about like potency or damage or whatever, but whatever, he gets all that from just putting 6E on his mods and stuff. The most important thing that Backpack Emperor could possibly want is a health arrow. You want him to be as close to 200k as possible or over, and I know that some people aren't going to be able to do that, but you also want to give him probably your fastest one. That also, if you have any, I mean, this is a great mod for him. I mean, it would be great even better if it was percent offense. But, I mean, percent protection and extra potency, wonderful things. He wants to be fast, and he wants to have all the health in the world because he doesn't want to die. He wants to be all the Sith. And he can't fulfill his destiny without a health arrow, guys. Give him a health arrow. Be humane. Give Backpack Emperor what he needs to survive. IG-11 is one that can really use a health arrow because you usually want to put him with Bando. You need to make him slower than Bando. He is a naturally fast character, though, guys. He is pretty quick. I mean, not like the very fastest, but you can make him really fast, actually. Obnoxiously fast, but his health is really important. I mean, not only to staying alive, but he also has a lot of things in his kit that deal with health. For instance, he gains, if he's with Kuiil, he gains 40% of his extra max protection based off of his max health. So he boosts his protection if he has high health. And so, I mean, it's just on that alone, you really want a bunch of extra health. But then, in addition to that, he has a heal. So it heals someone just their health, but it heals them 30% of his max health. So it takes his max health, 30%, do the math yourself, 138k health. He heals 30% of that onto someone. That's like 40k, something like that, health on someone. I mean, it's fine. His heal is good. You just want him to be very survivable because he's a tank. He's got the pre-taunt if he's with Kuiil, and he's going to heal you and also add more survivability to himself based off of his max health. So, you know, his speed arrow, I mean, I put a kind of fast one on him. I also put one with protection on him, you know, potency, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, guys, he needs to be slower than Bando. And Bando is going to have an offense arrow because specialized arrows are fun. And Bando's going to be like 270-ish speed, and you don't want to outspeed him. He needs to go right after Bando takes a turn. So that's IG-11. VanderChewie is another one who really wants it. Now we have the Dash team, and you know, even before the Dash team, you can put him with, if you wanted to gear him up, he's really good with like Rey, has like a weird plug-and-play character because he will reduce the amount of damage she takes by 25%, which can really buy you a lot of time. But you want a lot of health on him. You don't necessarily need to make him super fast. I mean, a little bit of speed is nice, but with Dash, here's the thing. He wants to stay alive. He needs to stay alive, and I forget which one it is. All right, so he's got this. Look at this, guys. So a lot of people don't realize 40% less max protection. Like, he just loses 40% of his protection. I don't know why they wrote that into the kit. It's such a weird thing. It's like, hey, look at this. Like, you have 100,000 protection. Just kidding. You have 60k protection. Like, why don't they just like reduce the, I don't know. It's just such a weird thing. I guess they care about the modifiers from the mods. It's just strange. But then he also gains 80% more max health. So that's just, it makes a good, I mean, he just wants a lot of health. That's his whole focus, guys. I mean, he wants to stay alive and have lots of health. He also, let's see, you know, if an ally took damage from an attack and Chewie did not, this is VanderChewie, he recovers protection equal to 10% of his max health, and other scoundrel allies recover half of that. So he's actually healing people. He's recovering. So if an ally took damage, he heals himself and the rest of the team 5% of his max health, which is also a pretty important thing. In addition, I mean, he revives when he recovers to max protection. This way, he becomes prepared, and you know the prepared mechanic is a really important one. So he wants all the health all the time. He doesn't really care about taking a huge amount of turns, though I guess Dash does actually facilitate some really nice turn meter movement anyways. He does a lot of good damage with his freedom fighter thing as well, you know. So based on Chewie's max health instead of his attack damage, it does damage to target enemy twice. Like he's doing like 100k damage with that attack, guys. It's pretty cool. He wants a lot of it. He wants a lot of health. That's all. Barris is another one who really doesn't care that much about speed. She wants a 6E health mod because she wants as much health as possible. This is still not very much, actually. I mean, she's only relic 4 for me, but you know, all the health. And here's the thing about Barris. So first off, she's gonna, when you hit her, if you crit her, she's going to recover 20% of, and this is with her Zeta, of course. She's going to recover 20% of her health, and that's the same for all of her team. But then here's the other thing, guys. At the end of each of her turns, Barris dispels all debuffs from the weakest debuffed ally, and she gains 10% turn meter for each debuff removed. So she's actually, she can go in an endless loop if she's up like against Darth Vader and he's applied 10 debuffs to someone, you know, dots. She'll just keep going and going and going, and you know it was always an interesting thing when you're trying to counter Rey and everything. But you know, she also, whenever an ally is crit, so she's got the 20% health, but then she also gains 10% turn meter, so she doesn't really need, I mean, she could use some tenacity, I guess, but you can't really focus tenacity. You need as much health as possible. I know that a lot of people are getting her up to like 150k health. It's crazy, but she becomes a force to be reckoned with. She can sit with Jawas and babysit them as they're pummeled to death by Geos, who are then pummeled to death by thermals. You know, she's just really important for that sort of thing. You know, she's good with Starkiller to prevent the General Grievous counter. She's got a lot of cool stuff going on. You know, if you dare to put more relics on her instead of on everyone else that requires it, but she really wants as much health as possible, and she doesn't need much speed. Here are the bonus characters, guys. We're trying to move pretty quick through these. Sith Trooper, Red Trooper, people call him Tampon Trooper, and I've always found that a tiny bit distasteful. Not that I'm judging people, but I'm not going to say it anymore. I think that might be the first time I've said it. Here's the thing about him. It's a little different now. There used to be the case that people always used Jedi to counter this team, and when they used the Jedi Revan, Jedi Knight Luke team, then they would just be able to, you know, mark Red Trooper and he would just die. He would just die instantly. But if you give him health, lots of health, then he's going to be really tough to kill. And I don't remember why we did health instead of protection. Honestly, I don't remember that. There was a reason. There's a math reason, I believe. But you want to make him hard to kill. I think some people were going protection, and maybe the fad is to do something different. Honestly, I mean, you'd think that you want to just add a lot of damage to him, but lots and lots of health, and you can see if you know, I gave him a protection circle because I care less about how he's doing now, but getting him lots of health makes him more immune to random mark and death from Revan. So, you know, but give him Relic 7 and do that, or not. These are bonus characters, guys. This is kind of just like bonus round. It's not lightning round, though. Okay, here's the thing about Sith Marauder. If you are worried about your Darth Revan team being countered by a Imperial Troopers team, this isn't foolproof, but Sith Marauder can be really tough to kill because if he has lots of health, because he heals him, he takes a lot of bonus turns and he can heal himself. So if you give him as much health as possible here, you don't really need speed on him because he gains his own turn meter quite a bit from this Force Shell Free Me. You guys can see when an enemy uses an ability outside their turn, Sith Marauder gains 20% turn meter. In addition to that, if you have him on the same team with Talon, he's not only gaining speed, he's gaining 30% health, and he is also, let's see, for each buff on all characters, so like if he's facing those Imperial Troopers and they're gaining every time someone does anything, all of them gain 5 buffs, his defense goes crazy, and they have really struggled to take down your Sith Marauder, and especially that happens if you put a lot of health on him. And so even though he hits less hard, his defense goes through the roof, and you know, if Dark Trooper can't pummel him like 4 or 5 times in a row and kill him, then Sith Marauder is going to take a turn, maybe kill one of them, maybe not, but one way or another, sometimes people will time out it just trying to kill your Sith Marauder if you stack a ton of health on him. Old Daca, guys, she is one of the most obvious ones. She really wants a lot of health, and she doesn't really care about speed. I know some people are saying like, oh, you really need tenacity on her, and I get it. Like, it's nice to be able to tenace things, no, to be able to get rid of those, you know, debuffs and stuff on her. I don't think it's really worth it, though. You want as much health as possible for a few different reasons, guys. First off, she doesn't care about speed. Every time someone dies on her team, which is very often if you've done it right, then she's going to gain 50% turn meter, and every time someone dies, the cooldown of her revive is reduced by 1. And so as people are dying, she's gaining turn meter, and she doesn't need extra speed. In addition to that, though, if you put her Zeta on, which you need to do if you're going to use the team in a responsible manner, or even if you want to be irresponsible, you can give her the Zeta, and every time someone dies, she gains 10% of her max health. So in this case, I have her at 135k. She is gaining, every time someone dies, she's gaining 13k extra health every single time. Now, there's an argument to be made to put defense set on her as well, just to make her more survivable and stuff. That's fine. It just doesn't benefit her in terms of regenerating as much health as possible and becoming a monster, which she is. Look at her. She is frightening. Nest is another one that I'm starting to move toward more and more health, guys. She used to be only tenacity, and it's kind of killing me, frankly, guys. Lowered her tenacity. Really hate to do that, but at the same time, getting her more health means it's tougher to take her out, and she can time more teams out. So with this, I mean, this isn't a health primary arrow, but I mean, it is health primary. It's not a health set arrow, but it is health. You want, instead of crit damage here and offense on the arrow, now you want tenacity and health, and then you want some kind of health set on her as well, because her role is shifting, guys. Now, if you're still using her to solo things, then sure, keep the crit damage and health and offense arrow on. That's fine, but her role is changing to be an annoying nag. You can't kill her. Nah. Cat is another one that you really want to make sure has a lot of health. Sometimes I haven't made the switch, though a lot of guilds are doing it, making her really, really, really thick and difficult to take out on a Kenobi team. She only benefits from a Kenobi team and all of the different things that he does with health and protection, bonus protection, all of that stuff. And then she also gains 50% health and defense off after all of that. So a lot of people are getting her up to somewhere around I don't know, like 120, 140k health. I forget what the final tally is, but you know, they're making her slower and giving her health arrows. And my guess is that I still have a speed arrow, yeah. But they're giving her all health, and then you can put the really fast speed mods that you used to have on her elsewhere. So not a bad use. And that, my friends, is it. One quick word, guys. Go refresh your assault battles if you can. If you want to, you get, I mean, if you have the crystals available, this is a great way. If you want to spend them on mods, this is a more cost-effective way than buying refreshes, though I would recommend doing both. This is a great way to get caught up. I know that you guys already have a lot of health arrows, or a lot of health set mods, and I get that. You need as many as you can, though, frankly, guys. And, you know, the health set, well, here's the other thing, guys. So circles and diamonds are the most common, and squares, but then the other ones are very rare, and you're guaranteed at least one blue of each of those every single time you refresh. You get 7 of these that for the same amount of crystals, you are getting nowhere close to that number of them. So here's the thing. Don't let this be my only word on it. Go click on the link that's going to appear here pretty soon that says that wants to talk about assault battles. It's important, guys. Refresh that one if you can. I know that some people don't have the crystals, but in terms of crystals that are spent in this game, that's one of the most cost-effective ways. So, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.